Hello darling hearts, it's your GAPS coach Emma here, talking about fear, because fear will kill you quickest, and we are fear-mongered and panic merchanted every single minute of the day in this realm. Been chatting to a friend of mine and we were reminiscing about what it was like at school in the 1970s and in the 70s, and so it was the late 70s, I think, that they did an exercise at school, and they told us that if a nuclear bomb were to fall on Portsmouth, because we were right next door to Portsmouth in Hayling Island, if a nuclear bomb were to fall, you'd have 4 minutes or something, and we'd probably be obliterated because of the nuclear wind. And they showed us films of people being blown over and disintegrated by nuclear explosions. And I worked out that if I started running to the infant school, or the primary school, I would meet my brother if he started running from the primary school to the secondary school. We would meet in the middle just before the bomb went off and just have enough time for a hug before we were disintegrated. That was the thing. That was the pictures that they were putting into my mind when I was at school. It's really shocking, isn't it? And my friend, also from America, was saying, they told us we'd have to get under the tables at school if there was a nuclear blast and stuff. And he said, and I was really shit scared, and I was convinced that the Russians were going to come and get us, and there was the cop. There are people out there now saying that actually there's no such thing as nuclear fallout. There's no such thing as nuclear bombs even. There's some people out there are actually saying that there's no such thing as nuclear bombs. These are nuclear physicists talking, so they know what they're talking about. Anyway, it's despicable, the things they put into the children's minds. My daughter was about, I think, 11 when the school teacher was off sick, and they had a supply teacher. And the supply teacher sat them down and they watched Schindler's List, which is a film all about children being separated from their parents and whole families being locked up, and dreadful things that went on during war. I feel as though we're at war still at the moment. And what I want to say is, look, they want to keep us in fear. Who's they? I have no idea. But the so-called powers that be, the institutions, I don't know. And when we're in fear, I think my dog's snoring if you can hear a funny noise. Anyway, when we're in fear, we can't digest our food, right? When we're in fear, we're in a state of fight or flight. So that our extremities are full of blood, and all the blood has gone away from your internal organs in your stomach and everything, and to your extremities, so you can run away and fight, or go and kill a zebra, or I don't know, whatever. Get something to eat. Fight or flight and rest and digest are opposite extremes of your nervous system state of being. And when you're in fight or flight, or feeling at all nervous about anything, or even anxious even, your digestion just packs up completely. So part of the work I do, and I've had some great success with some lovely clients in Instead of Bread cohort, is work with trauma release. You don't need to know what the trauma was about, you just need to know where it's sitting in your body, so that you can, we've got techniques and tools, but it makes a massive difference. It's not just about the food, although that's the foundation. Then we need to look at the light, and where's the light in your life, and how much light are you getting in your life? Is it blue light? Is it red light? Or have you got a red light sauna? Or that, that's not necessarily a red light sauna, but you can get a little lamp like you have on little chicks. Do you know that infrared light actually feeds your mitochondria? Literally. It's like just free energy. And when you look at heme, as in hemoglobin, next to chlorophyll, they resemble each other. Really, similarly, heme has iron at the centre, and then it has a kind of hexagon pattern around it of carbon and nitrogen, and then carbon and oxygen in a sort of it looks a bit like a hexagon. And chlorophyll is exactly the same, except it's not exactly the same, it's almost the same, except it's got magnesium at the middle. So these two substances, chlorophyll is the thing that makes the green in plants' leaves that look at the sun and then make energy, make sugar. And so that kind of tells me, I have no scientific basis for this whatsoever, but it kind of tells me that we can photosynthesize. We get energy from the sun, is what I'm saying. So don't be putting on sunglasses, don't be putting on sunscreen, don't even, just do it sensibly. Don't go out in the heat of the midday sun. Anyway, see me at timelesscookeryclub.com, because this September I'm quite tired actually, because I've been coaching, and I love coaching. It doesn't take anything from me, but I do give a lot, and then I'm happily relaxed now. I've done my day's work, and we're getting great results. I'm going to try and cut together a few more before and after reels. The offer for Fearless Ferments is with instead of bread, and you can find it at timelesscookeryclub.com. If you want to chat to me in DMs and find out more about it, I'm quite happy for that. You know, give me a little comment if you like, if you want to know more. And get out of fight or flight and get into rest and digest. There are techniques, there are tools, but you can never get out of anxiety if you're malnourished. That's a shocking thing to say. And we're spoilt for choice with the food at the moment, and lots of us are eating foods that actually rob us of minerals. So getting remineralised is really key, and I can totally help you do that. Getting remineralised, getting chilled, getting into rest and digest, nourishing yourself with really nutrient-dense foods that are actually rich and lush and delicious, and you don't need massive portions. It's not like when you're vegan or vegetarian, you need a massive bowl full of everything. I'm eating off little plates about this big, just a little bit of something really nutrient-dense. Satisfies, you know. Anyway, lots of love to you all. Have a lovely evening. Okay, bye.